Welcome to this word of hope for this Thursday, the 10th of October. Again, welcome back to our chapel. And I have right behind us these brand new stained glass windows, and here we have one of the earliest canons before the order was founded, but that original community that Dominic was a part of. And we can see here these canons in the cathedral praying. And sometimes we can look at these images of prayer and wonder, is that the way it works? Do I have to look like that? Do I have to do that? It was one of those anxieties that I had coming into the novitiate. Did I have to look and be able to pray just like my classmates were? We have that question and we always ask it in that insecurity. Why is prayer hard? Why sometimes does it feel like I'm talking to a brick wall? Where is God's voice? How do I listen to his voice? Is he hearing me? Is he present? Our gospel today is following yesterday's Our Father, where Luke is responding, or Jesus is responding in Luke's gospel to the disciples' questions about how do we pray. And then he gives this whole story about knocking on your friend's door. And the friend will give you what you want, even if it's out of persistence. But how much more would God give you? Do you need to pound on the door just to get God's attention? And what Jesus is trying to say is, I'm not like that friend who would give you after a while. I am there because I will give you what you need just because you are and you ask. Now, it might not come in the way that we expect. We might not hear the way God or the way we want God to talk to us because he might be speaking to us in a different kind of voice or a different kind of language. We have to let God be God. This is about that relationship. And we can't make God who we want God to be. Sometimes we need to let God be who God is. And here Jesus is clear about the Father. And the one thing he emphasizes about the Father is his divine tenderness for us. God has this heart for us. And do we trust that the way God encounters us is one that is of love and tenderness? Or do we sometimes try to protect ourselves, worried that God won't give us all good things? Now, in our head, we might say, well, of course, God's going to give me all good things. But our hearts sometimes wonder and worry. And in many ways, that often blocks our prayer. That blocks our expectations. It makes expectations that maybe shouldn't be expectations about how this dynamic relationship works. God communicates. Sometimes we need to learn his language. But what we do know, and again, Jesus is promising his disciples, when we pray, when we knock, the door is answered. We trust that God will make that known and make his grace flourish and flower in the way that he intends for our good and the good of all those around us. So trust in your prayer and trust in the presence of God. God bless.